you are going to suffer the vice president under the old system, Mansour Hadi. He's coming to power, and there's nothing you can do about that. And we're going to hold a big election. They held a big election with one guy on the ballot. And even NPR News covered it. Like, you can pull up the website where you can see the ballot with one man. Just type in Mansour Hadi ballot NPR News, and it'll come up, I promise. And there's... Okay. Anyway, when it comes to Yemen, there are bin Ladenites there, real-ass bin Ladenites. You'll remember that in fact, this was after Obama already started bombing them. But on Christmas Day 2009, the Underpants bomber tried to blow up a plane over Detroit. Yep. What was AQAP that sent him, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, Yemenite bin Ladenites, and Yemeni bin Ladenites. So they were centered in a couple of small towns on the coast, basically. Not too many of them. CIA begins this drone war against them. The whole time they're bombing them, this is in 2009, is when this starts, like in the fall of 2009. The whole time they're bombing them, Al-Qaeda's getting bigger and bigger. There's a great article by Jeremy Scahill in The Nation about this. Has the word backfires in it. Yemen terror war backfires, something like that. And he talks about in there how there was this tribal chief, whatever alpha male guy of this town, who had called a meeting with these bin Ladenites to tell them, you better stay the hell out of my town. And Obama bombed the meeting and killed the guy who was putting a brake on these guys.
Why did he do that?
Because he's an idiot. The CIA, they're bombing little black and white figures on a monitor. They don't know who's who and who's saying what to who down there. They're taking a wild guess. They call it a scalpel. It's not a scalpel. It's a 50, at minimum, it's a 50-pound bomb. A lot of times it's bigger than that. But if it's, a small drone-fired bomb, it's still enough to kill 5 people or blow up a pickup truck. That's not a scalpel, right?
Yeah.
And a 500-pound bomb will blow up your whole damn building and kill the family,
Yeah, when Eric Prince was here, he was whipping out his phone and showing me some of the live drone strikes. That shit's gnarly.
Yeah. And so... it is not at all a scalpel if it hits you. And so when you have these drone strikes on these towns, then what ends up happening is it ends up driving people into the insurgency. Whoever's bombing us, we want to join up with the people who are getting bombed. Not because, we want to be bombed, but because we want to be part of the force that's worth bombing. We want to be part of the force that's fighting against the people who are fighting us.
Yes.
It's the same thing that you and I would do if they started bombing our towns. We're going to join up with the guys who already have their guns and their act together and tell them, who do I shoot, right? Like, what? Yeah, that's what we do. So that was what they did. And Al-Qaeda just grew more and more and more, okay? Then... in order to accomplish all of that, though, Obama had to bribe the dictator of Yemen, a guy named Abdullah Saleh. And
he had to bribe him.
Yes, with money and guns.
Oh, well, that's how you do it.
Yeah. And so this guy had been the dictator since the end of the Cold War era, and he had reunited North and South Yemen. And the South was the more, commie backed by the Soviets, and the North was the British readout. And so... he had united the country and America had backed him all this time. But now he's a pretty slick double game playing type of guy. So he's allowing Obama to bomb Al-Qaeda, but he's actually backing them and the Muslim Brotherhood, a group called Al-Islah. And he's using them to attack his enemies, a group of Shiites in the north of the country called the Houthis, which that's their family and tribal name, but they're a sect of Zaydi Shiites from the mountainous north in the Sada province. And he keeps attacking them over and over. And he's using, even though he's taken our money and guns to allow Obama to bomb Al-Qaeda, he's actually backing Al-Qaeda as long as they're killing the Houthis. But then, what's funny about that is he's actually backing the Houthis to kill his own army and the Al-Qaeda guys too.
Yeah.
Because that's how they do politics in Yemen. I talked to a reporter one time. He said, that's the reason why they have those curved daggers, is so you can stab somebody in the back even when he's standing behind you. And so...
sounds like an awesome place.
Yeah. So that was the way Saleh did business anyway.
Yeah.
So then comes the Arab Spring, right?
2011.
The degree to which NED and CIA are behind all of this, or some of it, or whichever. Let's leave that aside. But revolution breaks out in Tunisia and Egypt, and then you have day of rage protests all across the Middle East, including in Bahrain and Saudi and Iraq and in Yemen. And in Yemen, they have huge protests, and everybody came out. The Muslim Brotherhood, the Houthis, the Southern Socialists from aid in the Southern Transitional Council, they call themselves. They're backed by the UAE and are socialists kind of left over from the Soviet days. And all these different groups were coming together to protest to try to get rid of Saleh. But he wasn't going anywhere. But then somebody tried to kill him twice. And the second time it was with a bomb. I forgot exactly what happened. I think it was a bombing both times. But the second time they got him and wounded him. And he had to go to Saudi Arabia to convalesce. And while he was gone, Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State, swooped in. And this is in early 2012. Hillary Clinton swooped in and insisted that whatever the people of Yemen have going on here, no. You are going to suffer the vice president under the old system, Mansour Hadi. He's coming to power, and there's nothing you can do about that. And we're going to hold a big election. They held a big election with one guy on the ballot. And even NPR News covered it. Like, you can pull up the website where you can see the ballot with one man. Just type in Mansour Hadi ballot NPR News, and it'll come up, I promise. And there's the ballot with one guy, one face, one oval. I don't think so. I don't think writing. You see Mickey Mouse down at the bottom, like people do.
Kanye West finished second.
Yeah, people writing in Ron Paul.
Oh my God.
And so Hillary Clinton declared this was the advent of democracy. Did you find it?
Yeah. Something about Hillary Clinton talking about democracy just never sits right with me.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. Yeah, Yemen election, one person, one vote, one candidate, February 2012. Yeah. Millions of people in Yemen. I like Yemen. I like saying it like Dale Comstock. Millions of people in Yemen turned out to vote Tuesday in an unusual presidential election. There was only one candidate and only one way to vote. Yes, that candidate, Abdurrahman Mansour Hadi, was the vice president under Ali Abdullah Saleh, who ruled Yemen for more than 3 decades. Saleh finally agreed to step down and transfer power to his vice president after nearly a year of mass protests against his rule. In the outgoing president's dusty hometown, about an hour's drive outside of the capital, Sana'a, and inside a school that served as a polling station, several pictures of Saleh preside over the proceedings as he has for 33 years in Yemen. People say that they are voting for the new Yemen, the new start, with the same fucking, okay, whatever. But it seems as if they are doing it because it's what Saleh wants them to do. I cried today as I voted, says Raisa Al-Sayani, as someone held a gun to her head behind her. We loved our president, but if he says his deputy is the best man for Yemen, then I know he knows better. I'm making up this last part. Then he is the best man for Yemen. That's, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
And the thing is, look, I'm not saying that all the protesters knew exactly what to do, but I am saying, as I show in the book, they did have processes and councils and committees that were, coming to agreement. They were trying to form a new government. They had the right to. America had no right to intervene in their process and to insist on propping up this guy over them the way that they did. And by the way, according to the rules of confirmation bias, when National Public Radio says something that agrees with me, then that means that even National Public Radio admits that I'm right. You see how that works? Especially when, and I know that's funny, but also especially when these are Democrat times and they're confirming my bias, not Obama's. They are accusing Obama here, essentially. They're really implicating our government, the Democrat government, in what was happening there.
Right.
So when they're willing to make the Democrats look bad in that way, like arguing against interest, but hey, what are you going to do? It is the news and it runs anyway, then that's a bit more credible, because it's just as easy to turn around and go, come on, NPR, you wouldn't cite them for anything else, which is a good point, depending on the
broken
on the
clock
story,
is right twice a day.
That's right. And you got to use your discernment. And then, but also I get to make a joke about confirmation bias that, like, see, it fits with what I think, so I get to cite it, come on.
Yeah.
Anyways, here's the deal though. Mansour Hadi sucked at being a dictator, and he didn't have the talent, I guess, that Saleh had. And so I'll say that for a second. So he had cut all the gasoline rations for the poor. He had failed to stand for re-election as promised, and he had kind of taken a magic marker and drawn hard borders between the regions of the country as though they were states in a way that cut the Houthis off from the sea, from the Red Sea. So them's fighting words there, right? Like that was a declaration of war against them. So, but here's the ironical part is that it turns out that Abdullah Saleh, the former dictator, he was a Zaydi Shiite. Even though he wasn't a Houthi, he was a Shiite from the north. So those same Houthis that he'd been attacking and failing to defeat over and over again, he went up north and joined them. He took about half his army or more with him. And so now you had the former dictator of the country changed sides, became allies with his old enemies in the north. Now they marched together down back to Sana'a to take the capital city. Am I making sense?
Time is a flat circle.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so the world too, apparently.
Yeah.
They get to Sana'a in the end of 2014, and they kick Hadi out of power. He flees to Aden and then to a hotel in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if he ever came home again. So...
in a lot of ways, the world is like a fucked up. It's actually bloody and gross, but like the back office stuff is like a giant episode of Veep. It's not like that far off.
It is. It's pretty stupid.
It's
it
like,
really
oh,
is.
which dictator? Oh,
You'll like this part. So the Houthis come to power, and like I said, they're Shiites. But that means one thing about them. That means about them that Al-Qaeda thinks they should all be dead. Because to the Al-Qaeda guys,
Sunni Shiite. Yeah.
the only good, well, and not to every Sunni, but to the Bin Ladenites, especially in a post-Iraq War II era, the only good Shiite is a dead Shiite. So America under Lloyd Austin, remember him, the Secretary of Defense under Joe Biden?
Terrific Secretary of Defense.
Yeah. Before that, he was the head of Central Command, 4-star general over there.
Oh.
And he had a program right when the Houthis took power in the end of 14 and into 15, where he was giving them intelligence to use to kill Al-Qaeda guys. Hey, you know how the Al-Qaeda guys like killing you? And the Shiites said, yeah. And he said, well, you want to kill them good? And they said, please. And he said, well, here's intelligence to use so that you can target them. And so we have this from the Wall Street Journal, January 2015. America gives support to Houthis. And that same month, a lady named Barbara Slavin, who used to write for UPI Press Service and is a member of the Atlantic Council, she wrote a story for Al Monitor about how General Michael Vickers, who is Deputy Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, came to the Atlantic Council and gave them a big briefing and told the whole story about how, guess what we're doing, everybody? We're giving intelligence to the Houthis to use to kill Al-Qaeda with.
It's like the Mujahideen all over again.
Well, in this case, it's backing the Shiites to kill the Mujahideen.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. Like the concept's the same. Like
sorta. But wait, because in 2 months, you found it? There you go.
Yeah, you're like the Billy Mays of like politics. But wait, there's more.
That's right. There's a big wrinkle in this story, which is this piece, as I mentioned.
Steve?
Just show us the headline there. There you go. So this is January, as I mentioned, January 2015, same as Barbara Slavin's piece in Al Monitor on the same topic, is from January of 2015. And the funny thing about that is that 2 months later, Barack Obama turned around and stabbed the Houthis in the back and took Al-Qaeda's side against them. That's like back in the Mujahideen all over again, my friend. And the reason why...
Wait, he took Al-Qaeda's side?
Yeah, dude. And the reason why he did is because that was what the Saudis and the UAE wanted. And by the Saudis and UAE, I mean the then brand new Deputy Crown Prince and Deputy Defense Minister, 29-year-old Defense Minister, Mohammed bin Salman. And so he needed to make a big name for himself by launching a war. And he teamed up with Mohammed bin Zayed in the UAE, and they launched this war. They came to Barack Obama and asked for permission and help, and he gave them the green light. Go.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.